What's happening, everyone? Welcome to this episode. In this episode, I'm going to be talking about something that can help you, on one hand, become happier, live a more fulfilling life, and on the other hand, it'll increase your performance and make you more successful. Personal development and growth and training, there's this camp of people who talk about inner emotions and inner world, right? They're more focused on how you feel. And then there's this camp of people who are focused on performance, success, growth, things like that. Obviously, this is a whole spectrum. There are people in between, camps in between, but I'm just trying to draw a rough outline here. I'm sure you get what I'm saying, right? But I've always intuitively known that it's not either or. It's not like I should stop being successful and I should stop going after my dreams in order to be happy, right? At the same time, just to achieve more success, become bigger and expand more, I should not have to compromise on my happiness. It should not be a struggle, right? So I've always looked for this sweet spot, this magical, mystical place where everything is like this effortless kind of flow, right? Things are just happening almost on autopilot, and I'm just sort of like on the driver's seat and I'm mildly controlling the steering wheel. There's not too much required. I just have like one hand on the steering wheel, and sometimes I steer the vehicle a little left, sometimes I steer the vehicle a little right, and that's pretty much it, like mild course correction, right? Another analogy that comes to mind is, think of rowing a boat, using an oar to row a boat, putting all that effort in, versus having a motor boat where you just have one hand on the handle and you kind of gently steer it left and right in between a little bit, right? I've always wanted to find that kind of performance, and I've always wanted to live that kind of life. And I feel now more than ever, I'm convinced that that is the answer to most of humanity's problems. If people are happy, truly deeply happy, fulfilled, and at the same time people are productive and successful and talented and bringing out the best they can, we will have a different world, a completely different world, right? So let's dive into it. What is this state? It's called flow. Lots of people talk about this, and the classic work has been done by a guy called Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi. He's even written a book called Flow. And in that book, so the subtitle of that book is something to do with happiness. I think he has written something like the classic work on happiness, right? So he started out by looking at happiness, but then he also discovered that people who tap into flow are not only happy, they're also very, very successful. They are full power people who are living life full throttle, who are crushing their professional life, who are winning at whatever it is they're doing. Okay, so we've all experienced this in our lives. Flow is that state when you're lost in an activity, time flies by, everything feels effortless, everything feels awesome, and like 6 hours have gone by and you're just like, man, I didn't even realize I was doing this for 6 hours. It felt so good. And I've also, at the end of those 6 hours, I've also achieved something, I've gotten somewhere. So we've all had that experience in our lives, but we've never really recognized it and labeled it like this. We've just called it like, oh, it was a great time, or, oh, time flew by. We've just looked at it as a one-off, like a good day. Oh, it was a good day. Or a good weekend. But we've never really technically understood what was happening. What was that phenomena? What was that state of mind? What caused it? How can we replicate it? What if it doesn't have to happen once in 3 months? What if it can happen every weekend? What if it can happen twice a week? What if it can happen every day? What would it mean if you could experience this sense of selflessness, timelessness, effortlessness, and richness every day? Okay, the acronym is STER, S-T-E-R, selflessness, timelessness, effortlessness, richness. So examples are, think of the person who's rock climbing, and that person is, it's been 2 hours now, he's immersed in the activity. There is no sense of self anymore. You know how we always have a sense of self, this is me, this is my body, we have an internal dialogue going on. He's lost that sense of self. He's just completely absorbed in the activity. A. B. Timelessness. There is no sense of time. What is objectively 2 hours or 4 hours, to him, it maybe feels like just a few minutes have gone by. In fact, there's no track of time because he's so immersed in the activity. Effortlessness. It's not a struggle. Neither is it boring, right? So this is where there is a match you have to find between the level of challenge and the skill set you have. If it's too challenging, it becomes overwhelming. If it's not challenging enough, it becomes boring. So it's like the perfect challenge where it's effortless. You're conquering that challenge. Neither are you bored nor are you overwhelmed, right? And the last one is richness. Your senses are stimulated. There is an intake of rich data from all your senses to continue to keep you engaged. Selflessness, timelessness, effortlessness, and richness. These are the qualities of flow. Another example could be, you don't always have to do adventurous stuff. Somebody who's a coder, somebody who's writing code could be experiencing this. So when we read documentaries of people like Bill Gates, they've written, I'm sure some of it is exaggeration, but the kind of stuff they've written in there is like, I used to write code till I would fall asleep on my table. While writing code, I would fall asleep, and then I would wake up and just start where I left off. So one would imagine when Bill Gates is working like that, he's obviously experiencing flow. You get it? So this can be a sport, this can be business, this can be socializing, this can be anything. But the qualities are STER, selflessness, timelessness, effortlessness, and richness. Now what happens when you're in this state? First we'll talk about what happens, and then we'll talk about how to get into this state, okay? Because that's what I want to leave you with. So for a lot of people, this is going to be the answer to many things. If you're struggling with depression, this is going to be the answer. This is going to help you, okay? And this is not like medical advice. However, I have dealt with a bad mood, depression, things like that for years and years. And only when I'm experiencing flow do I feel happy, right? So whether it's something inside you that you want to change, the way you feel, etc., or maybe it's something outside you. Maybe you want to be super productive in your industry. Maybe you want to find a niche that you can completely dominate. Flow is going to be the answer for you, man. Right? So if you're someone who's been searching for an answer, maybe this is going to be it for you. This is going to be it. Okay? So what happens when you're experiencing flow? You produce the kind of stuff that is not normally possible. The kind of output, the kind of results you can create, it's not possible in an ordinary state. Also, learning becomes faster. So we've all heard it takes 10,000 hours to become a master at something, but when you're experiencing flow, that time gets cut to half. So you can actually learn the same stuff in 5,000 hours. Imagine that. The time it takes to become a master at something is now half. Learning is faster, results are improved, overall sense of happiness, well-being enhanced. It's like a superpower, man. It's like being on a drug, except you're not on a drug. It's your natural, it's what your body is naturally doing. And when scientists looked into it, when scientists tried to see what's happening inside the body, a whole bunch of chemicals are being released. It's like your inner chemist is releasing all sorts of good chemicals, dopamine, oxytocin, all sorts of good stuff. Okay? So it's like you're taking drugs, but healthy drugs, natural drugs. You're producing your own drugs inside you. So if you're excited enough, if I have given you enough information to make you realize that you should be experiencing more flow, right? At this moment, there are probably two types of people listening to this, or three types of people. One, who've never experienced this and are super curious and want to try and find ways to experience this. Two, people who do this all the time intentionally, who know what I'm talking about, and they're like, hell yes. They're completely on the same page with me. They get what I'm talking about. They absolutely agree with me. And they already have their life planned in such a way that they're going to experience flow regularly. And the third category is people who've had some experiences with flow, but who are kind of struggling to experience it regularly, right? So I feel category 1 and category 3 are going to get the most value, because you, after this podcast, after this video, will be able to really get intentional about wanting to experience flow in your life. And you'll be able to put structures in place, systems in place. You'll really be able to take action and finally kind of get your hands on this thing. The second category, for you, you can think of this as another person affirming that you're on the right path. And you can think of this as, just rubbing shoulders with someone who sees the world the way you see it. And it's like when you meet a person and you know that there are some secrets there are some secrets they know, but a lot of people in the world don't know. So you share this like secret eye contact and you nod. For you, this podcast can be something like that. And of course, you never know, you might learn something new as well. Okay, so with that said, let's jump into triggers. I have a list here with me of 17 triggers. Now, this list will help you actually figure out how you can experience more flow in your life. What kind of activities do you need to do, and in what way do you need to do those activities to experience flow? All right, so here's the list of 17 triggers. Number 1, intensely focused attention. Number 2, clear goals. Number 3, immediate feedback. Let me explain these three, then we'll move forward. Intensely focused attention. Obviously, to experience flow, you can't be distracted. It's got to be an activity that consumes you completely. Clear goals. It's kind of connected to focused attention, but the point here is you in your mind need to know what is the outcome that you want. So if you're climbing a mountain, reaching the top of the mountain is the clear goal. If you're writing a code, finishing that is the clear goal. If you're doing sales back to back, cracking 3 sales or 5 sales is the goal. You need to have a clear goal, because that drives your mind in a certain manner. Otherwise, it's, the human mind is designed in such a way, if you don't give it a goal, it's just like it feels what it's doing has no purpose. Immediate feedback. Very interesting to understand this, okay? If whatever you're doing does not give you feedback immediately, there is a lesser chance that it will create flow for you. Now, what does that mean? When somebody is doing rock climbing, if they miss a rock, immediately they will feel that. They'll feel disbalanced. If somebody is writing code and they write something wrong, they will see that happening in front of them. On a sales call, if you get rejected or you see the sales call going downhill, you will immediately get feedback on it just by listening to the listening to the other person's tone, the words they're using. You will know that, oh my God, I'm losing this person. That immediate feedback also keeps you hooked. Because if you're just blindly doing something and you don't know whether you're hitting the bullseye or not, whether you're moving in the direction you should or not, it's not engaging enough for your brain. If you're going to get the results 3 days later, it's not engaging enough for your brain. But if you're getting instant feedback, instant, like riding a cycle, like riding a motorcycle really fast, instant feedback, anything goes wrong, instantly you feel it in your body. That triggers flow. That grounds you in the moment. Let's move on. Skills challenge ratio. I spoke about this. If whatever activity you're doing, it's too challenging, it's going to overwhelm you. If it's not challenging enough, it's going to bore you. So skills challenge ratio, it's got to be just right. High consequences. If you're doing something that has high consequences, boom, instant flow. If you're rock climbing and there's a risk of falling down, instant flow. And I do not recommend you go and do something dangerous like that. I'm just communicating the science to you, okay? When you're bungee jumping, what do you think happens? Do you think you're thinking about anything else? When you're, say, sparring in boxing or MMA, what do you think happens? You're in the moment, you're in the flow. So anything that has high consequences, right? Rich environment. We spoke about this as well. If the data coming in through your senses is animated, is rich, it triggers flow. Moving on. We are at point number 7 now. Deep embodiment. That means if your full body is engaged, if you're fully engaged with what you're doing, kind of connected to intensely focused attention, if you're fully engaged, there's a higher chance you'll experience flow. The next one is serious concentration, quite similar to what we've already spoken about. Then there is, so we spoke about clear goals. Now this point says shared clear goals. This is about group flow. See, we don't live our lives alone, all right? Sometimes we are doing things with other people. We have our co-workers, we have our friends, we go to a party. So if everyone has the same goal, even if it's something simple like let's go to a party and have fun, let's dance, that shared vibe can create group flow. And group flow is something we are not going to talk about in this podcast, but it's even more powerful than individual flow. Group flow is what allows miracles to happen. When human beings come together and they get lost in one activity, one goal, that's when magic happens. Moving on. Good communication. Okay? Self-explanatory here. If there is clear communication between the parties involved, it is going to enhance flow. Next, familiarity. If you're familiar with the process, your mind doesn't have to do too much work. You can just sort of effortlessly go through the motions. Next, equal participation and skill level. Now, what this means is all the people who are involved or all the elements that are involved, they are equally participating. So if I'm trying to experience flow on a sales call and the customer is non-responsive, I might lose my flow. If I'm in a party and I'm socializing and I'm not getting good responses from the other person, I might lose my flow. So it's very important that all the elements are participating. And if they're not, then somebody needs to take responsibility and make that happen. Moving on. Risk. Now, risk is connected to high consequences. Pretty much the same thing. If there's something on the line, whether it's financial, physical danger, even social danger, right? You feel your status could be lowered, or you could get rejected. Even that triggers flow. Next is sense of control. So if you're skiing, let's say, or you're surfing, that sense of control creates flow. Riding a motorcycle, that sense of control creates flow. On a sales call, you know it's going perfectly, creates flow. Next, it's kind of connected to good communication. Okay, the next point is close listening. So simply by sometimes listening to somebody closely, you can get put into flow. Many times this has happened to me. I'm in a seminar, I'm listening to some teacher, or if it's a spiritual setting, some guru, and it just goes so deep that I'm lost in it, right? And when I come out of it, it's like 5 hours have gone by and something's changed inside me. So even close listening can trigger this. The second last point in this list of flow triggers is always say yes. What this means is, if let's say I am out in a nightclub and I am working on social skills and I have decided I'm going to talk to a lot of random people, if I'm thinking who I should talk to and who I shouldn't, I won't experience flow because I'm thinking too much. But if I just go like, I'm going to talk to whoever I feel like talking to, the moment I look at somebody and something inside me goes, I want to talk to them, boom, I'm going to walk up to them and I'm going to say hi. So once I've put aside that overthinking factor, I am able to access flow. always say yes. The last point is creativity. So creativity also triggers flow. For me personally, I love creating business plans. I'm a strategist by nature. I love thinking about the future. I love thinking about what's going to happen to an industry 10 years from now. So when I allow my creativity to come out, that sort of puts me in a trance, right? So these were 17 flow triggers that I just shared with you. There are more. What we have to do is we have to find the ones that work for us. For some people, they need very hard triggers. They need an environment which is very stimulating. They need adventure sports, things like that. And then there are other people who need something very mild, like yoga, soft music. And then there is another group, and this group kind of enjoys it all. Sometimes they want hard, stimulating stuff. Sometimes they want soft, soothing stuff. So with experimentation, you will figure out what works for you. Okay. Now your job is, if you're with me so far, and if you're able to understand the impact this can have, flow can change your life, man. Flow can take an ordinary average person and make them a happy, excited person overnight. Okay. Flow can take a boring life and turn it into an adventurous, amazing life overnight. At the same time, like I spoke about earlier, flow will increase your productivity. So if you've understood now, and this was one of my main things in this video, in this podcast, I wanted you to buy into this. I wanted you to at least understand that this is something you need to look into, right? You need to maybe watch more videos on this. You need to maybe buy the book and just go deeper into this subject, because it's so profound. It can affect your life so deeply. If you've now kind of got that, the next thing to do is A, start experimenting. B, start scheduling. Put stuff in your calendar, right? If you want to do rock climbing, put it in your calendar. If you want to do martial arts, MMA, put it in your calendar. If you want to call somebody to give you a massage while you have candles lit in your room and soft music is playing, put it in your calendar. Meditation, put it in your calendar. So start scheduling this and see how you can maximize this. If you are able to create a life where you're experiencing flow regularly, man, you are going to become unstoppable. Absolutely unstoppable. And you will become a light in society. You will become one of those people who other people look up to, and you're always shining. You always have this glow on your face, and you're always, doing your own thing. You're winning. And people are like, wow, look at that guy. You're going to have a positive impact on society. It's not just going to be your life that improves. You are going to make the world a better place. All right, with that, I declare the first episode of this podcast complete. I will see you next time. Please let me know what you thought about this episode. Let me know your thoughts on everything we've discussed. And of course, do the good stuff, man. Like, comment, share, do all that nice stuff, okay? Don't make me say it. Just do it. Just do it. All right. Peace, love. I'll see you later.